Hi, you are tuned in to Fireside Chat with Debbie Marks. Debbie is not with us today. She is out today. So I am Kathy Benner and I am moderating the call today with Nancy Holderman. So Nancy, welcome. Thank you so much for being with us. For those of you that tune in and listen to our podcast or go back and listen to the replays of those, we have talked with Nancy very recently, just in December, and we talked all about recycling and what that meant for us and how we could help and be a part of that. It was great information, so please check back and listen to that replay. It's a great interview. And today, Nancy is going to share some more information with us. And so, Nancy, I'm going to go ahead and turn over to you and just give us a little bit of your background and how you got involved to begin with these particular issues. Nancy?
Hi, well, I'm Nancy Holderman, and I've been involved with recycling and the care of others pretty much all my life, and everything that I've done and the different jobs that I've done. And I've worked in sales all of my life, so I'm a transplant from Kansas City, so I was transferred, and got to travel the country a lot and see a lot of different things and different personalities of people, and so been able to put all of this into the work that I'm doing now. So it's been really fun, and I know last time that we talked a lot about different things you can do in recycling and environmental issues and everything. The one thing that we didn't expand on was what we're doing and the programs and how people can get involved with the work that we're doing and the different organizations involved in this. So the work that I'm involved in basically covers two different areas: education and solutions to environmental issues, which is it's just been my passion all my life, and working with the environment, and training and supporting people in need. And so one of the biggest initiatives that I work with that support both of these is as a board member of the nonprofit called Reliable 4, and it's reliable with the number 4. And Reliable 4 is a 501c3 nonprofit that was established about a year ago, and the vision for Reliable 4 starts with 4 different divisions. So the four plays a big factor in many parts of this. So there's 4 different divisions of things that we're going to be doing to help out in different areas. Each division has a specific vision and mission. The 2, and we're starting with developing 2 of them. One of them is reentry program for women coming out of either jail or prison, and the focus of that is to help women reenter the community from keeping them out of poverty, and to help make their lives have purpose and feel like they're loved, and that they can overcome the issues that they've been through. So with that in mind, we will work a lot with housing. And one of the biggest problems that people have in coming out of prison or jail is finding appropriate housing, because once you've committed a federal crime, housing is very restricted in who will accept you in housing. There's been like 81,000 women coming out of the prison system, and 101.8 million coming out of jail that each year that need help in these areas. One of the other big factors of this is just feeling that they have support, and so we're working with ministry in that area, and so people understand that they can be forgiven, and they can reinvent their lives and have a purpose, and that people care and will help them along the way. One of the the two things that they have to overcome is finding also a new career. What do they want to do, and how can we help them learn how to interview, how do you deal with with the fact that you've been in prison and dealing with that. How do we find people to that are willing to give people a second chance? So working with the career transition part of that. And the other factor that they have is they don't have any transportation. They're coming out with most of the time basically nothing. And so getting them to their job each day. This is an issue in every disadvantaged environment that you have is an ability to be able to get to your job each day on a regular basis and without excuses. So helping with that transportation part of this is a big part, fourth section of that. So any questions on that? That's on the reentry program and how we're working with that.
How widespread is this reentry program? Is it just Central Ohio? Is it a particular county? How big is the project?
So right now we're starting in Central Ohio, and
Okay.
And we'll be working with part of Reliable 4 is we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. So we want to work with the organizations that are already doing things in this area. Some of the women's prison has some programs. We're going to be working hand in hand with those programs and in these areas. So Central Ohio right now is our base of this, and where we'll get our feet wet.
Okay. Now, does funding come through the state or through the federal government or private grant money? How are you funding the program? Because that's quite a large program when you're talking housing and support and career and transportation. So where does that funding come from?
It is, and funding right now is in this area. Funding is our biggest holdup to moving forward in it. So because it's going to take an incredible good budget to provide housing and transportation, and the other areas are a lot of volunteer, but the transportation and the housing both take considerable funding. So those are the focuses that we're doing on that at this point. Are establishing our funding. We're doing that through fundraising, grants, all of the above, yeah.
Okay. Interesting. Perfect. Okay.
So the area that I'm the most involved with is the section it's called For Our Environment. And that goes back to my passions for the recycling and the environmental issues. And that part is established to raise awareness to both the young and the old on how each of us can make an impactful difference in our environment on a daily basis. There are things that each of us can do daily and long term, to help with the environment. And when I talk about both young and old, the young people, educating the young people to establish habits and understand now the issues involved with the environment and how to recycle, how to repurpose, how to buy sustainably, and what products to use that you can reuse that aren't going to cause environmental issues. So and then with us older people that we didn't, those were things that we really thought about when we were growing up. And so teaching the moms and dads and grandmas and grandpas and everything how to recycle, what can be recycled, and to simplify that process for everyone as much as possible, and how to buy useful, sustainable products and that are going to keep the environment safer for our grandkids and grandkids to come. So, so that's a lot of the basis for what that program is established with. So that again has 4 parts. So we start with education on recycling and the restructuring of how people buy things, and how to dispose of waste. So so we do a lot of education on that area. The other area that we're focusing on is pollution cleanup. So some of the events that we will hold will be involved with that, and how, a cleanup day and things like that. So we're working on service events that we can work with. And the fun thing about this is, volunteers like the kids in high school that need service hours for National Honor Society or something like that, we will be able to get them involved with that. So it's kind of a fun, exciting things to be working on. We'll work on planting trees and working with different nature programs to help kind of recoup some of the clean air and things in the environment. And then we will continue with key trending product or topics that are going on as they come up. So we're kind of anything in the environment right now. There's just we're always learning. New things are coming up all the time, and so we want to be able to be flexible, to be able to work with things as they move forward and change. So what we learned a year ago and what we were talking about, fine-tuning things have changed already in some of that. So staying on top of all of that and being able to handle all of that. So,
Nancy, I remember when we talked with you, I'm hearing an echo. I don't know if it's me or not. And when we talked with you back in December, I remember you told the story that you used to go camping and everything, had a cabin with your parents, and that they disposed of their waste by wrapping it up in a newspaper and taking it out to the middle of the lake. I remember you telling that story. And of course, we wouldn't do that today. But then that, that's what everyone did then, because we had this vision somehow that the world was just never ending in this huge place. But then again, in December, I told the story how I was using plastic bottles in the bed and breakfast. And I was just appalled at the volume of these plastic bottles that just my bed and breakfast was putting out. And I thought, what if everyone in the whole world did that? And so I immediately said, I have to change this. And so I did. I went, back to ceramic glass cups. I got rid of the plastic. I bought glass carafes to put water in, to put into the rooms, into the sleeping rooms, instead of bottled water. And I haven't had any complaints at all. No one has asked for bottled water at all. And so I didn't know how that transition was going to work, but it worked very smoothly. And so now I'm looking at other ways that I can get rid of all of that plastic. It's really just overwhelming when we look at the volume.
Yeah. And I have been and I love that story too. And I have used that story several times just to show that, one person in your one work environment, I mean, how many bags of trash do you think that you've saved over the last year that are not going into the dump, and plastic that hasn't had to be produced because of that one move that you made? And if everybody had something that they changed in their, we wouldn't have an environmental problem, if we could all just make one change in what we're doing. So I really love that story. So it's a great example. Thank you. So a lot of the things that we talked about and what we can do, what we need for help in what we're doing. We're constantly trying to develop programs and education. So if anyone wants to volunteer, anyone wants to help in any development of educational programs at all, that would be wonderful. And we are also working with we have a website, and it's up and running, but you know, as the environmental issues and as everything that we develop, as that progresses, keeping that website up to date constantly is a struggle. So we could use some help with that. So that's one of the things that we're working on also. Our website, talking about it a little bit, you know, as I'd said earlier, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. There's a ton of resources out there. And so what we want to do is collaborate with those resources. So we're putting, you know, links on our website to other locations, other websites that have, you know, recycling for their area, you know, ideas of things to do for recycling or repurposing or anything like that. So one of the sections on the website is for that connection, and just links to other valuable sites and people that can help and have different ideas. We're also,
what is your actual website?
The website is Reusable, the number 4.org. So Reusable4.org.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, and they're a good contact for us. You can either contact me, and my phone number is there on the page here. Also, my email address is nancy.holderman@gmail.com. And and you can also through the website, you can contact us through the website at info@reusable4.org. And again, it's the number 4, not the word 4.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so any way you want to contact any of us, we have you know, 4 board members and our director, and so, you know, anybody wants to reach out to us to collaborate, to ask questions, to, you know, have us come and talk to them, any of that, we'll be glad to do that. We're also looking for partners. So we're looking for companies. You know, I went through some recycling training program, a 2-day program here a few weeks ago, and you know, one of the gentlemen that presented at this seminar had developed leaf bags, the reusable leaf bags, and was contracting with the local services, the you know here in Columbus, where Rumpke's a big one, you know, there are many, but and so that they could picked up these leaf bags and just dump the leaves in the compost, and using that as opposed to putting it in the trash. So so that you weren't reusing bags, paper bags, which have an issue all in themselves and everything. So, you know, it's fun to learn those products. So too, we're going to have partnered with you know, any of the companies that we find that have good products out there. I know last time we talked about different things. So you know, we talked about bags at the grocery store. So you go to the grocery store, and there's, you know, the plastic bags that at the produce department that you put things in. And this is a sample of the bag that I use when I take to the store to put my produce in. You know, it's really lightweight, it's breathable. So, and they're come in all different sizes so that you can put, you know, avocados to celery and lettuce or whatever in it. And the other big thing that we used are these reusable bags, and they come in all different sizes too. And this is what I use for you know, leftovers a lot of times, not my gooey leftovers, but you know, in anything from, you know, lettuce, carrots, anything like that we use. Also, I'll use the smaller ones for sandwiches to put in my lunch boxes or anything like that. Little, you know, so we're using this, and this replaces plastic. So
now, do you have a resource on your website where we can actually get those items?
Yeah, so we are working with different companies to get those links on our website so that you can you
Okay.
go to the different websites to do that. So that's what the resource will be, a really good resource for these products, because that was the one question that you guys had last time is, where do we get this stuff? So that's going to be our job in putting all of that together so that everybody has a centralized location that they go to. And it's just fun to look on them. It's like, oh, cool. I never thought about that, and how you can reuse things. And there's things like dryer balls that you could use in place of dryer sheets, that bounce around in the dryer. You could even put, essential oils on them to act as a scent, and, and it keeps you from having the waste of dryer balls.
I use
Oh, go ahead.
I use dryer balls.
Yeah, and I think they're cool in themselves. So any of this stuff I think is cool. The other thing we talked about last time was one of the biggest issues. If I could get people not to throw food in the trash and not to throw organic products in the trash, like your leaves, like people put potted plants, any of that stuff is compostable. And but a lot of what the products that we see going into the trash that are compostable are also unnecessary waste, because we'll buy products and not use them, or buy products and they go bad before they use them. So the other thing that I've been just experimenting and learning about is how to keep products to last better. And I think another example I used last time was of the strawberries that had been in my refrigerator for 2 weeks, kind of hidden in the back. But I had them in this container. This is the glass container that seals, and 2 weeks after I bought them, I didn't have any waste in them at all when I went to eat them. So I got in them to throw them away because I assumed they were bad, and they were not. They were still in great shape. So using good containers to keep your produce, and learning how to use how to best put produce and things that go to waste easily, how to put it away so that it stays better. So those are all educational things that we're working on in working with our partners and everything. So those are just, they're fun things to learn about.
Nancy, this is amazing. I love everything that you're doing.
Thanks. So other things that people can do in helping us. I mean, we've got fundraising. Fundraising is obviously a big thing. We every organization has expenses, and some, even from website maintenance of, insurance, everything that we do has a cost. So putting on programs and buying stuff when we have our events and everything. So any donations can be done online also, fundraising or helping us with fundraising in any way that's possible. We're also looking for more board members. So somebody that has a passion for a cause, especially the first two that we're talking about, and then like I said, we have two more that we'll be developing once we get these up and running and funded. We'll be developing more. So if anybody's interested in board work, volunteer board work from a nonprofit, we would love to have a conversation with them. Like I said, we'll have 2 to 4 events a year. So with those, one of the big things that we're going to need is tons of volunteers. So anybody that's interested at all in helping spread the word, helping volunteer in any of the aspects that we do, no matter whether it's spreading the word at a school for an event, or whether it's being there at an event, whether it's helping us with the website. One of my strengths is not in social media, and so somebody that to really help with the social media, producing things that we can put out there to let everybody know what we're doing. So those are some of the big needs that we have. That if anybody's interested, they can contact us and just have a discussion. So I love to see where people's passions are and where they think they can help. So
I love that. When you talk about, and I'm going to go back to the first one about the reentry for women that are coming out of jail or out of prison, and one of the components was an education piece, of course.
Mhm.
How are you presenting that education piece to those gals?
So it depends on what segment of the education. So if somebody needs her GED, then that's going to be something that we need to help them get before they before they can probably do most of their dreams. So we talk to them about that and then hook them up with someone who does education and working with support with people getting their GED. So there are organizations out there that work with people to get their GED.
Okay, so part of that's going to be on that resource section of your website, possibly.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And just so the other education components are in establishing a career, what you want to do, learning how to dream, and how to do an interview.
Yes.
What's the responsibility of you as an employee? If you can't be at work, which many times happens, you've got a single mom with a sick kid and no money to pay for the doctor, and the last thing that they're going to think about is calling their employer to go into work. They're going to be, the immediate need right now is that I take care of my kid, and or their babysitter doesn't show up, or so education and how to reach out and giving them reach out opportunities, and resources to do that, so that and what they need to do from an employee standpoint to do that, and so those are some of the educational things that we'll work with people.
Very good. This has been very informative. Now you say that Reliable 4 has 4 points, and we talked about the reentry for women coming out of jail or prison, and then the environmental piece. What are the other 2 pieces so far, or do you have those firmed up yet?
Those are yet to be determined. Yes.
Okay.
We have a slew of ideas, but again, pinpointing on those, we can't be a jack of all trades of everything. So we've got to start with our biggest focus right now is the environmental programs.
Okay.
And then that's what we're the most active with right now in getting established. And then the money part of the reentry program. And then once we get those up and running and moving smoothly, then we'll focus in on which of the other programs that we want to work on in the other 2.
Very nice. Very nice. And Nancy, this has been so informative. Sally, do you have any questions for Nancy?
I do not.
Okay.
It was very interesting, Nancy.
Thanks, Sally.
Now, Nancy, have you put this program together pretty much? Is this kind of your baby, or is it someone else's that you came along and partnered with? Or is this something that originated with you, this whole Reliable 4?
Oh, Reliable 4 was the dream of Stacy Downs,
Okay.
who I have known for quite a few years. And when she came and asked, she and I were talking one day about some of where I'm going with the things that I'm doing and my passions and education on the environmental issues, and then she asked me to come and join the board. So what we're doing with Reliable 4 is all the board members are working equally hard on getting us a great group ladies right now. It's all women right now, doesn't? And,
Okay.
so you know, men are certainly welcome to the board also, and that input is critical. But yes, so I work on personally, I do education for the environment, so teaching about recycling and things like that. So my work is environmental.
Records that are if
Sally, we heard a little background there, Sally.
So that's the background that I bring to the board. So
Okay.
all of
What
the
is
board
Stacy's
members
last
have
name
their own.
again?
I'm sorry.
Stacy's last name again?
Downs, DOWNS.
Okay, Stacy Downs. Very good.
And
I
all
don't
of the
think
board
I've-
members, our bios are on the website also.
Okay,
and,
okay.
And how to contact each of us and everything. Like I said, everybody on the board has their different strengths, and it, you know,
Their superpower.
their superpowers, and so we all have our, you know, our focus. Mine, you know, I'm marketing and the recycling, you know, part of it. Those are my passions and those are my strengths.
Yep, I can see that. Well, Nancy, I can't wait to visit the website and learn a little more about Reliable 4. And again, for folks that are listening, tap in, connect with Nancy at nancy.holderman@gmail.com. Her phone number you can see here on the screen, 614-774-8050, and connect and become a part of this amazing program. I can see where it is definitely on the ground floor, and I think it's going to take off. It's going to be an amazing program for Central Ohio and just grow from there. So please connect with Nancy. And Nancy, thank you so much again for coming on with us again today. I love it so much. And we will definitely stay in touch with you. And I'm going to go visit the website next.
Cool. Well, thank you. Well, you know, thank you for the invitation. And it's, you know, you guys are wonderful, and it's enjoyable to come and talk with you. So thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. And please stay connected, because we'll definitely have you back again.
Absolutely.
Good to see you again, Nancy.
Okay. Take care, Sally. Okay.
All right, folks. We'll see everyone next time. Thank you for joining us. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.